Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for choosing our show. William Samoei Ruto has really disappointed his followers, his bloggers, his economic advisors. We have always complained on this platform that when you compare William Samoei Ruto to the late President Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta, they are way ahead of William Samoei Ruto in terms of economic programming and plans and policies. William Ruto and his people continue to say that they want to ensure that they take back the economy of Kenya to where Kibaki left it, because they have always complained that Kibaki was on the right trajectory, but that when he left, Uhuru Kenyatta dragged us back. And we have seen many economists in this government trying to use jargons that we cannot understand. But even as laymen, when the economy of a nation is growing, there are indicators. You can always see, the common man can always feel it. And even when you listen to reports from institutions like the Controller of Budget or the Auditor General, you will always see that there is a serious government. And when we complain that William Ruto needs to up his game, there are people who feel that, tunamtakia mabaya, that we don't see anything good in William Ruto. But this week, William Ruto, while attending the East African Summit where he was elected the chairman, in his own admission publicly and the whole world watched, William Ruto admitted and corroborated our fears that in terms of trade in services and goods within East Africa, Tanzania has surpassed Kenya. We've always been ahead of them under the previous presidents, his predecessors, like Uhuru and Mwai Kibaki. But then under his regime, only 2 years down the line, just 2.5 years, Tanzania has surpassed Kenya in terms of trade.
Today, Tanzania has overtaken Kenya, and I must commend Tanzania for the progress they are making, that the numbers are growing.
That admission vindicated some of us. We've been exonerated because some people think that when we criticize, when we tell William Ruto that he really needs to change the way he's doing things, then they feel that maybe we don't like William Ruto. He's the president, he's paid by taxpayers' money. That admission has not gone well with people like Dennis Itumbi, who have always protected and defended William Samoei Ruto. That admission did not, go down well with people like Ndi, who has been tweeting and defending the government. But many people are now happy that William Ruto finally admitted. There was a time when Madam Suluhu said that wekezaji wengi wanatoroka Kenya na wanaingia nchini kwao, that many investors are fleeing our country and their destination, they find an environment in Tanzania. And people thought that, Madam Suluhu was becoming unnecessarily proud or arrogant. Remember the other time when she was even saying that we are speaking a lot of English in darkness. Little did we know that we were being prepared for slaughter. Adani deal was coming because they were trying to paint a picture that our airport was pathetic. But it is now true that investors are leaving our country and they're finding destinations very conducive in Tanzania and Uganda. I want you to look at these statistics that I looked at and I could not believe. There is a list of companies that have been leaving the country. I could not verify exactly which year, but the person who gave this list is saying that these companies have left just within the 2 years that William Ruto took power, that exodus of companies from Kenya. Why are global brands leaving? These are global brands. Now they are saying that they have mentioned key factors why these companies are running away, and they're saying that one of them is economic environment. rising taxes, e.g. fuel tax from 8% to 16%, weakening the currency. You remember when we passed the finance bill 2023, the first person who cried out was Buzeki. And I remember Buzeki was saying that Buzeki is a multimillionaire. He owns several companies. And he said that this was going to anger very badly to the Kenyan people. And as we speak, he had closed some of the branches. He told us that he remained with just a few trailers and a few drivers. So when we increased the fuel tax from 8% to 16%, you know what that meant? The cost of production. They're also saying operational cost, high electricity prices, expensive production. This is where now Adani comes in, where they will tell us that, this is why we wanted Adani to come in. And then we have government policies, unpredictable regulations, and corruption, middlemen within. I remember the current president of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, during the G2G oil, he told us that there's a lot of bureaucracy within the country, thereby making it very difficult for him even to do business with us. Some of the very companies that have been lined here, as I said, the person giving this is saying that this is within the 2.5 years. One is GlaxoSmithKline, Bicham. They're saying that this has been in the country, but within the 2 years that William Ruto was in power, they left. Del Rey, they're saying that Del Rey is gone when Ruto was in power. Africa Oil, Nestle, Cadbury. We have Reckitt, Bekiza or something. We have Bridgestone. We have Protector and Gamble. This is Procter and Gamble. There are several of them that they're saying Eveready. Did Eveready leave when Ruto was in power? I don't know. But they're saying Colgate, Palmolive, Mobius Motors. They're talking of Pachini Group. So there are several of them that are saying have left the country under William Ruto. And that's why when he admitted that Tanzania has surpassed us, we can always look at what is happening in the country. Tanzania is surpassing us. Our investors are running away. And it tells you that even the minds that have been given the job, the economic advisors, the ministers that are trying to help William Ruto realize the bottom-up economy is not really working well. Now, I want us to go to another level where William Ruto really believes that we should be taking our labor, exporting labor. And people have been asking, why aren't we creating our own market? Why don't we create our own companies? Because we see when companies go to the other countries, that is why we have a big gap. We have labor that cannot be absorbed because we have increased the production expenses, and therefore we have people who are unemployed. Listen to this young boy challenging Alfred Mutua. Very shameful to Mutua about how we do business in terms of our labor, exploitation of labor.
Si wakaaji wa Baringo wengi, hata wanafunzi wa technical wako hapa ni wengi sana. Wale walimalizia grade 8, class 8, wale walimalizia form 2, wale walimalizia form 4, wote wako hapa wakitafuta shughuli za skills. And Your Excellency, the last thing that I want to say, in as much as we're exporting labor to other countries, international labor, why can't we as a country also create industries, especially processing industries, so that we can utilize these markets, this labor that we have in this country? Especially here in Baringo, we have a lot of fruits. We can have industries. How many people will be employed? We have meat. Tuko na mbuzi, nyama kutoka hapa Tiati, Arabal and other areas. Why don't we have an industry, especially kama hiyo ya Maoi? Tukuwe na industry ambayo ita-employ watu wetu wa Baringo.
I listened to that young boy and I was like, between the two, who should I make my trade minister or foreign or whatever? If the young boy is saying that we need to create our own companies. We need to create an environment where these companies remain behind, instead of an environment where that will lead them to, leaving our country. Then we start exporting them to Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, where Lebanon, and some of them are really being persecuted. Some of them go there because they want greener pastures, and the pasture is not even green. Some of them have come back in very pathetic. Some of them were never paid. Some of them have come back maimed because their bosses are really mistreating them. Listen to this expose by Larry Madoas. This Kenyan is crying how she was mistreated.
That is a Kenyan domestic worker in Saudi Arabia who tried to quit her job after 3 years. She says her employer kicked her out with nothing but the dress she was wearing. She's been stuck for the last 6 months at a detention facility. Without pay, she cannot fly back to Kenya because her employer has not filed the paperwork and has all her belongings, her phone, her clothes, every single thing.
And this is why I'm telling you, I looked at this and was trying to scrutinize all the levels, and I realized that this is clueless. There was no any idea. William Ruto told us there was an idea. Maybe the idea that he had, he said we have a plan, an economic plan to ensure that we have, I don't know, they call it bottom up. Maybe it was there in theory, but practically there's no one to implement it. We have the economic advisors just taking quite a lot of money and they're doing nothing. And then there's a lot of corruption and bureaucracy. Every now and then they want to do something. Some few people must enrich themselves from taxpayers' money. And with this kind of attitude, we can never grow our country. And so, ladies and gentlemen, to the chagrin of people like Itumbi, some of his bloggers, people like D, William Ruto has admitted that things are not right because under his regime he has been surpassed. Why? Do you know Uhuru Kenyatta told off IMF? He was not doing everything that they wanted, but for us, kill the subsidies, increase the taxes, and and this is where we are here. And we continue to yap. We want to protect and defend. Now William Ruto has exposed them. And people are asking, how can you use our taxpayers' money? And then you go and admit and even congratulate another country that they're doing better. How serious are you? And even as we speak, things are not there are no signs of light at the end of the tunnel. And someone was asking, do you even have that tunnel in the first place? Those who are defending William Samuel Ruto, what do you say about his own admission?